Ms. Jayapal from Washington for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here, Ms. Lake. The U.S. Agency for Global Media is tasked with providing unbiased news worldwide to over 427 million listeners, many of whom live in countries without freedom of press or freedom of the speech. And it is your job to promote the American ideals of freedom and democracy. So I wanted to start just by confirming, do you support democracy or authoritarianism?
Hey there, fellow freedom lovers. Welcome back to America Patriots, the channel where common sense still lives, liberty rings loud, and we say what everyone's thinking, but with a smile and a cup of black coffee. Before we dive in, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit the like, and drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from. Every single like helps this channel reach more people who still believe in good old-fashioned freedom, truth, and the Constitution. All right, let's roll.
I think that's pretty obvious. I support freedom and democracy.
Democracy. Great. Would you agree that accepting the results of a fair and free election are critical to a functioning democracy?
Would you agree that standing up and cheering for a cancer survivor would have been the nice thing to do?
Ms. Lake, this is my time.
Okay.
Would you accept that accepting the results of a free and fair election are critical to a functioning democracy? It's a yes or no question. Do you think it's essential for democracy to have a free and fair election?
We need free and fair elections.
Free and fair elections, great. Thank you so much. And yet, you have, to this day, refused to acknowledge that President Trump lost the 2020 election, something that even members of President Trump's own Justice Department have admitted and multiple lawsuits have shown. And we heard my colleague from Arizona talk about what happened in Arizona. So it concerns me that you are now tasked with this responsibility of ensuring democracy around the world when you won't even accept a free and fair election. I'm also concerned by your ability to promote the American ideals of freedom and democracy, given your record defending and praising dictators. Let's look at Hungary. You previously stated that Hungary is, quote, doing it right, and that Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán was, quote, the greatest in America, greatest in caps, and, quote, and equal to President Trump. Do you stand by those statements?
I think that Viktor Orbán has done a very good job at protecting his people and protecting the Hungarian culture.
And so,
I think
Ms. Lake,
if you ask people in Europe, other parts of Europe,
the question here is very simple.
They would be wishing that their leaders stood up for their people.
Is Viktor Orbán the greatest in Europe? Yes or no?
I think he's done the best job in Europe, yes.
Okay, and so even Secretary Rubio acknowledged in a 2019 letter that under Orbán, Hungary took a downward democratic trajectory, and yet you insist that Hungary is doing it right. I want to cover some of the policies that Mr. Orbán is responsible for. Would you consider banning LGBTQ pride parades like Viktor Orbán has done in Hungary as doing it right, recognizing that pride parades are protected under the First Amendment?
What does this have to do with the U.S. Agency for Global Media?
I'm asking you whether you support the policies of dictators and authoritarians or whether you support democracy. You have said that Viktor Orbán is the greatest in Europe. So do you think that Viktor Orbán is doing it right when he bans pride parades?
I think Viktor Orbán has put the people of his country first.
So the answer is yes, you think it's appropriate that he's banning pride parades and using facial recognition technology to actually profile people that go to those parades? How about the fact that Orbán and his party control 80% of Hungary's media market?
Are we here talking about Hungary?
Yes, we are, because guess what? Your agency actually is responsible for other countries
Hungary
and
is
unbiased
an ally.
news.
Can I remind you that Hungary is an ally of America?
Oh, and so you think that it's okay that Viktor Orbán, the greatest in Europe, according to you, controls 80% of Hungary's media market? Is that level free and fair reporting?
I don't. You obviously don't like our ally Hungary. I think that
I'm
asking the people
you
have voted
if
for
you
him, and the
think
people of
that
Hungary
it's
will decide.
appropriate. Ms. Lake, it is my time. I'm asking you if it is appropriate that a country, Viktor Orbán's government, controls 80% of Hungary's media market. It's just a yes or a no. Do you think that's okay? Think he's the greatest of all
I don't have
time?
an opinion on what Viktor Orbán is doing in Hungary.
It's not up for
Other
debate.
than I
It's
know
a
he puts his
fact
people
that has been
first.
documented by numerous organizations.
who?
Now,
Can
not
you tell me
only
where that
have you
fact come
supported,
from?
not only
Where
have
did
you
that
supported,
fact come
excuse
from,
me, Ms. Lake,
Representative?
I'm sorry to remind you, you are not a governor. You're not even a candidate for governor. You're here, and this is my time. Not only have you supported dictators that have supported policies that erode democracy, you also spread claims promoted by Russian state media that the Pentagon was funding bioweapon labs in Ukraine. These claims have been proven resoundingly false, even by Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Do you still stand by that prior
Look,
statement, Ms. Lake?
I know that many members of Congress care more about
Do
funding
you
Ukraine
stand
than
by that statement,
order?
which is clearly a lie?
I know that you
are
voted.
responsible for an agency that is supposed to promote truth, and yet, over and over again, you are promoting dictators and authoritarians and lies. So I am asking you if you stand by the statement that you made that was promoted by Russian state media that the Pentagon was funding bioweapon labs in Ukraine. Proven false by Marco Rubio. Do you stand by that
I
statement?
understand you're trying to get a fundraising video here.
Okay.
So
Well,
let me
you
help
clearly
make-
don't
let me
understand that
reminding
you are
the lady's
actually
time
here
has
before
expired.
before
Your time
Congress. Mr.
expired, Ms.
Chairman, I
Jayapal.
just want to say
you had
that
more than enough time. I gave you a few extra
I
seconds,
understand,
and your time
and
has expired.
unfortunately,
and I now recognize Representative
Ms. Lake
Davidson.
is not responding
Can
to
I
the
have
questions.
just 1 second to respond? Because who is going to be speaking
Representative
next?
Davidson is next.
Oh, may I have just 1 second to respond to that? Obviously, from some of the questions we're hearing from the Democrats, they care more about a lot of other countries than America. And we've seen.
So today, we're talking about that congressional hearing where Representative Pramila Jayapal grilled Kari Lake. Yeah, the same Kari Lake the media loves to hate about democracy, Hungary, and even some wild claims about biolabs. I watched the whole thing, and let me tell you, phew, it was like watching someone try to win an argument by interrupting their own echo. Now, first off, props to Kari. She sat there calm and composed while getting peppered with questions that weren't really questions at all. It was more like, here's a lecture, and I'll yell over you if you try to answer. You could practically see her thinking, is this a hearing or a campaign ad? Jayapal kept demanding yes or no answers, but wouldn't let her explain anything. Classic DC move. They ask, but don't want an answer unless it fits their script. And yet, when Kari tried to say something, Jayapal hit her with the OL, it's my time. Like, okay, fine, it's your time, but maybe try using it for an actual discussion? Then we get to Hungary. Oh boy, Jayapal tried to paint Viktor Orbán as the boogeyman of Europe, but Kari said something that hit me. She said, Orbán puts his people first. Imagine that, a leader actually prioritizing his own citizens. What a concept, right? Around here, we call that common sense. But apparently in Washington, that's controversial. And yeah, Kari called him the greatest in Europe. Maybe she said a little tongue-in-cheek. But hey, the guy defends his borders, protects his culture, and doesn't bow down to Brussels or the woke crowd. I'd say that's doing it right compared to a lot of what we see in the West. Jayapal then starts talking about pride parades, media control, and all that. Like suddenly this hearing about American media is turning into a European political debate. I'm sitting there thinking, what does this have to do with the U.S. Agency for Global Media? You know, the agency that's supposed to promote truth, not spin. And the best part? When Kari tried to respond, Jayapal hit her with another, it's my time. I swear, if I had $1 for every time a politician said that, I could pay off the national debt myself. Then there's this whole Ukraine thing. Jayapal accuses Kari of spreading Russian disinformation. Now, whether you agree or not with every claim about what's going on over there, it's pretty rich hearing that from people who once called the Hunter Biden laptop story Russian disinformation. And we all know how that turned out. Kari stood her ground, said she believes in putting America first. And that's what gets me. The end of the hearing said it all. She pointed out that a lot of these Democrats seem more interested in what happens overseas than in what's happening right here at home. And she's not wrong. We got families struggling, crime up, our borders wide open. But yeah, let's talk about Hungary's parade policies. Sure. Look, whether you love or hate Kari Lake, you've got to admit she's got backbone. She doesn't fold under pressure, and she's not afraid to stand up to the DC machine. She's got that classic American toughness, the kind we need more of, and honestly, the whole exchange just shows how upside down things have gotten in Washington. We got politicians yelling about protecting democracy while trying to silence anyone who disagrees with them. Isn't the whole point of democracy that we can actually debate ideas? All right, Patriots, that's my take. What did you think of the hearing? Was Kari out of line, or was she just calling out the nonsense? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one of them, and I love hearing from y'all. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the Liberty bell, the notification bell, so you don't miss the next video. We've got more truth, more laughs, and more unapologetic American patriotism coming your way. And remember, stay proud, stay free, and never be afraid to speak your mind. God bless you. God bless Kari for standing her ground. And God bless the United States of America.